join us on a momentous occasion.
Indeed.
And a momentous occasion it was too. After 10 days waiting for northerlies to veer east, it was finally time to leave the south coast. Today would mark our first 100 nautical mile passage and our first overnight sail, as we set off to round Land's End and cross the Bristol Channel. You join us on a momentous occasion.
Indeed.
Channel 16, because over there, at the end of the land, is Land's End, which means we now mark the end of our South Coast adventure and the start of the Irish Sea.
Bristol Channel first, but then into the Irish Sea, absolutely. This is Runnel Point, very famous South Cardinal marker. Over on the north side of that Cardinal marker is a very shallow area, as you can probably see some overfalls at the moment. So we're deliberately avoiding that area. And in the distance there, we can see longships and the lighthouse on longships, which helps us to navigate through a very rocky area again. Lots of rocks just jutting up out of the seabed, which in heavy seas, which we don't have today because we picked our weather window, can make you come a cropper. But we've got brilliant conditions for this today, so I'm certainly a bit nervous about the next 45 minutes, but I'm looking forward to getting it done.
Let's go!
Leave our guests, let me know if you've got something to call with. Also, let me know, you can WhatsApp Eric Hansen 288 and text 8890.
And we've been very diligently checking navionics. Meanwhile, snooze time.
Snooze patrol.
Whenever it's a major crossing, she just goes to sleep.
Otherwise it all goes.
Alright, over here we have longships, and over here we've got Armed Knight, this great big rock formation. Up there is Dr. Johnson's head. Hello, Skipper Johnson.
And this is my head.
Hello, Dr. Johnson. Helpfully, there's a few fishing pots that we need to avoid. Oh, a butterfly just went across the bow. Very pretty. Look, nice cliff formations.
Almost around Land's End.
Yeah, conditions are pretty darn perfect. We've been waiting a week for great conditions.
We've waited 10 days for this. Very much the inside passage of Land's End, within 200 feet.
Right there. Wow. This rock off the starboard bow is called the Bryson, and our research we're supposed to pass the Brysons at.
High water Dover.
And the time is?
High water Dover.
Yay! Overfalls! Woo!
You're on the inside of them.
2 hours later.
Well, it was all going too well. Feeling a bit beaten up now. Yet again, the Great British Weather Forecast has just been completely wrong.
Yeah, it's supposed to be easterlies. The easterlies we've been waiting for 10 days.
Because we don't want to go against the wind for 100 nautical miles up to Milford Haven, especially because the tide's running with us as well, and it creates the most awful seas. And of course we've turned the corner around Lizard Point, which was all fabulous, absolutely textbook, work like clockwork. Then we get around the corner and it's just awful.
It's a northerly.
It's a northerly.
A nasty one.
You probably don't get it on the camera, but the sea state is just so lumpy, so confused.
Show the bounce out the front.
The boat has been hammering up and down into it. Of course, you know, not only is it a northerly, it's a northerly at the angle whereby both of our potential destinations, neither of them are sailable to. So Milford Haven or Lundy Island, can't sail to either of them. So yeah, feeling a bit dejected by that, if I'm honest with you. But we've just got to roll with it. And about 20 minutes ago, we made the decision to re-divert to Padstow. So Padstow is about 35 nautical miles away. It's got a sailing angle, although we are motor sailing because we need to get there by 6 o'clock because we can only get in on a high tide, and the high tide's at 6 o'clock. So we're going to get closer to land. We're near the UK 12 mile border at the moment. So we've got no phone reception, but we're just going to continue ploughing on. The good thing is that it is a sailing angle, so we're doing 7 knots. So we should be there in about 5 hours.
Go and see Rick Stein.
Well, yeah, if we can get in, then Rick Stein's on me. Not literally, but his food will be.
The clutch for the Genoa furling line has snapped off. So once we put the Jenny away, we can't get it back out again. So hopefully, if we go into Penarth or Milford Haven, or even when we go all the way around to Conwy, hopefully we can get that sorted. Fingers crossed. Entrance to Padstow Harbour, one of the most technical entrances known, isn't that right?
It is for us.
We've just passed the Doombar channel marker of Doombar Bay. Yeah, it's been quite the passage over here. It's really nice to have some calm waters coming in here after that. We made it with 10 minutes to spare and 20 centimetres under the keel. Once over the tidal gate, we sighed with relief. Inside the harbour was calm and sheltered, but it presented a new problem. I didn't know how to moor to a harbour wall. The quay was heaving with tourists eating, drinking and crabbing in the evening sun. 100 pairs of eyes were on me as I rushed around the deck, moving fenders and staring up at the wall, confusion written all over my face. So I did something very out of character. I shouted at 100 strangers for someone to catch a line. 98 avoided my eye. 2 came to the rescue. Thank you, Stu, and thank you, anonymous man in the pink shirt.
After a day like that, there was only one thing for it. We showered, and with sopping wet hair and dirty boat clothes, we went to the only place still serving food, Pauline's with Cafe Reggiano. When the only thing you've eaten all day is a bowl of cereal at 6 AM and about 3 gallons of seawater, that is a sight for sore eyes. So this is Padstow at low tide. Gives you an idea of just how tricky it is to get in here. So at high tide, most of this is sea, but the sandbars that you can see everywhere take away a lot of the depth. So there's only certain parts you can actually motor your vessel down. So you've got to be very, very careful on the way in. You make what you call a pilotage plan, and you're looking for specific angles from your helm position to various buoys and markers and so on, and you slowly make your way in. So it is doable with a proper plan, but many a boat comes a cropper and gets stuck on sand, unfortunately. But we were fine.
Is busy cooking up a storm in the Galley. The harbour master just popped over. They've got some more yachts coming into the harbour this evening, so they've asked us to go and raft to our neighbours, which is fine. We know our neighbours, we really like them. We had a drink with them yesterday, so it's kind of a week of firsts. It was our first 70 nautical miler, our first mission aborted, our first time following a pilotage plan over green on the chart rather than blue on the chart, first harbour wall, and now first rafting, so very exciting. So I'm just refreshing some day skipper notes. I thought it was always best to raft in opposite directions, but apparently that's just like a privacy thing. So just checking which way we would have the lines, and that we have the rigging so it's not adjacent, so that you stagger the masts, so if the boats start rolling, nothing gets tangled.
Tomorrow is attempt number 2 to get to Milford Haven. Here we are in Padstow. This is Milford Haven here. It's about 75 nautical miles, and as we come out of Padstow, all of this green will actually be blue because we'll be coming out at high tide, and we've got a fairly well buoyed channel here to help us understand how to get out safely, the same one that we took in, so that's quite nice. And then once we get out of and clear of Pentire Point and these rocks here, Rainer rocks, we've then got 65 miles of 353 degrees true. So hopefully we can do all of this in a single tack, and then the fun and games starts getting into a very busy oil and gas terminal, which is Milford Haven. Very well buoyed for the big ships coming in and out. And we're going to be one of the little minnows, just kind of staying on the outside of everything, following all of these little buoys. You can see all of our little waypoints here to kind of help us as we come in, our little pilotage plan. Then we're going to zip across the channel, and then we're going to be entering Milford Haven Sea Lock, which is here, before we come into the actual marina itself. The sea lock should be on free flow, which means we can go straight through, because we're going to be coming in, we forecast, at about high tide in Milford Haven as well. So feeling pretty good about it, a little bit nervous because of the experience that we had the other day. Wind-wise, wind is coming from this way, so from a kind of east-northeast, which should mean that we can take a reach up there. So the wind should be coming on the side of the boat, which is a very fast point of sail. If we can make 7 or 8 knots, I'll be very, very happy, although I am cognizant that the weather forecasts are generally wrong, and I'm therefore expecting to be going head to wind for the whole way, which should mean that we can do about 7 knots, so hoping to get the whole thing done in about 10 or 11 hours. Setting off at 1 hour before high water tomorrow, which means that We should be there in Milford Haven at around 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. So within daylight, which is nice, which is always the aim.
Rob's currently topping the diesel tank up. So here in Padstow, if you need diesel or petrol, you just leave your jerry cans over at the harbour master's office, and twice a day they take them and get them filled up, and then you just pick them up and they add the price onto your bill. So we haven't experienced that before, but it's really handy. Just literally a 1 minute walk, leave your jerry cans, bring them back. Awesome. Don't have a teapot, so I have to make tea in a jug. It is another very busy day in Padstow. This place is so popular, and I can see why. It's gorgeous, it's lovely. So we are planning on leaving tomorrow and trying to get back over to Milford Haven. A bit nervous, gonna admit. I think Rob's a little bit nervous as well, just because of what happened last time we tried to get there. Kind of psyched myself up for it now. But then we found out the gates, the harbour gates, are having some work done on them today. And if that work isn't done by 6 o'clock tonight, it's going to be continuing tomorrow. We need to be out on the morning high tide, which is about 7, 8 in the morning. So if those gates aren't finished tonight, we're stuck here for a few more days, waiting out the gate repairs and waiting out the bad weather that's coming in. So, I don't know. I wouldn't mind hanging around for a bit more. We'll see what happens. It's Wednesday morning and we are not at sea. We're still in Padstow. The gates weren't fixed by last night, so we're stuck here for a little bit, aren't we?
We're stuck in Padstow for another 3 or 4 days, yes, so what a nightmare.
I know, it's terrible. We're on our way to a farm shop because Rob's going to cook a lovely dinner tonight for our boat neighbours, Stu and Deb. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you Skipper Rob's cooking show, live from the Galley.
So today we're going to cook some sea bream. So we'll need to fillet them. I need some cherry tomatoes, remove the seeds, peel and chop some garlic, marinate your sea bream in some lemon juice, pith and slice some olives, stick some olive oil in the pan, let it heat up. And to that we're going to add the chopped garlic, some capers and some anchovies. Saute it around until the anchovies dissolve. And then we can add some white wine, reduce it by half, and then add in your tomatoes. I like to stir them around and saute them in, give them a good press, give them a good mush into the pan until they get nice and mushy, as so. And then add your olives. Stir them around, seasoning, salt and pepper, and then take your marinated sea bream, lay them across each other in a dish, add some white wine, stick your mixture on top, a bit of oregano, a bit of olive oil, cover in foil and stick into the oven at 200 degrees for 15 minutes, and then remove the foil, stick it back into the same oven for about another 5 or 6 minutes. Serve it with whatever you like, but it must include a glass of white wine. Why am I cooking so good?
It's been blowing an absolute hoolie all day, and now the cockpit is just full of this dark sand. And because it's been boiling, we've had to have the hatch open. So every now and then a load of it will come into the actual boat. Oh. Hey ho. It's a good job there's not a hosepipe ban or anything. Yikes. This is the tidal sill that takes you into Padstow Harbour. So there's normally a bridge across there, but 2 hours before and after high water is when boats can get in. Of course, when we came over this, we only had 20 centimetres under the keel because we only had 10 minutes to go. Day 57 in Padstow Harbour. I'm kidding, it's like day 6, but Padstow's reputation as a glue port is certainly proving true. We'd hoped to go on Wednesday, but the gate wasn't working, and now that our window to go on Saturday, it looks like the wind's completely changed and we might not have any, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get the sails up and give ourselves an extra couple of knots. But either way, it's going to be a long day over to Milford Haven. Padstow, day 312. Still no sign of Rick Stein. Huey's beginning to think he's actually not real. He's some sort of just local legend, like the Loch Ness Monster. Everyone thinks they've seen him. No one really has. It's passage day. It is 8 AM and this is the quietest I've seen Padstow. It's been absolutely heaving, regardless of if it's a weekday or a weekend. It's been jam-packed. Yeah, it didn't matter if it was windy, calm, everyone came to Padstow. So I imagine by 12 o'clock this place is going to be heaving again. 8 in the morning and you can see one of the many sandbars over there. The tide is rising, so I don't know if any of that will still be visible by the time they open the gates. Gates are over there just behind that red brick building. It's going to be a long day, but I'm hoping it's a good day. The whole town smells of pasties. It's really nice. All the bakers must be up and getting the pasties ready for the day. But as we know, you don't buy the pasties in the morning. You buy them at 10 to 4. Learned this from Stu. Then they're only £1 or £1.50. Bargain. And we are off! And Huey is just watching the world go by. Are you watching the dinghy race? Go on. Hit the button. You don't want to disappoint the dog, do you?